welcome back to the Composer's Challenge. Today I want to talk to you about a less glamorous part of this process, but it's something that we all experience, and that is getting stuck. There comes a point with every composition where the material doesn't flow, you hit writer's block. It's almost like you run out of steam when you're writing. I experienced this a lot this week with my piece I'm writing for this challenge, Hint of Hope. I published it on Wednesday if you want to check out my reflections on it. Basically, it was really hard. I had to dig into my memory about what do you do when you don't have the inspiration, when you don't have the material, if you just literally can't think of what to write. And so these are the things that I used to help me get out of my rut. The first thing is to work backwards. Start at the very end of the piece. I think about the applause. I think about the audience going crazy for me, cheering their loudest. Oh, thank you so much. What is causing them to do that? What is provoking their response? Is it a lingering emotion? Are they inspired to get up to their feet? Are they sad? Are they crying? Are they smiling, laughing? So whatever I want to leave them with, that is where I start the end and then work backwards from there. How did we get to that point? Now, it doesn't always have to be the very end of the piece. Sometimes I will start at the end of my A section if I'm having trouble getting into the B section, or I'll start at the recapitulation if it's returning back, to the material from the beginning. And basically it just gives me the freedom to go out of order. So I don't have to, start at measure 1 and then end at measure 100 or whatever it is. Number 2 is to reimagine your current material. This is perhaps the most powerful tool that I use, and I do it with almost every piece that I write. Without fail, whenever I start a piece, you have that beginning motif, whether it's a melody or a harmony or just whatever idea started your song. At least for me, I listen to it over and over and over as I try to think about what comes next. And by doing this, the original idea that I had soon becomes stale. It doesn't feel fresh. It feels, sometimes I even wonder, did I actually write this? Because it feels so, it just doesn't feel like it's new material. It feels like I probably heard it from somewhere else. What helps me to refresh the material that I've come up with is to do this exercise. So what I'll do is I'll take that beginning melody or motif, whatever it is, and I will reimagine it as many different ways as possible. So I began this with the techniques that we learn in music theory. So retrograde, inversion, changing it into a minor key, or a major key depending where it falls, moving the mode around, so using Dorian or Mixolydian, those kinds of things. I realized that this is kind of, in music theory, you are learning theories behind music, but using what we learned in a theory class is not what's practical when you're actually trying to use it in reality, if that makes any sense. So what I'll do is try to imagine even more things beyond the written analytical theory behind it. So what kind of colors can I bring it to? How can I add textural notes to it to make it sound different than it does currently? You can also think about interval direction. If it goes up a second, take it down a second. Is it major or minor seconds? The possibilities are really endless. I do plan to do a video on this kind of thing in the future, so if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. So what this does is it lights up the part of my brain that creates things, I guess. And instead of feeling, oh, I don't have any new material, suddenly I have 12 to 15 new ideas based on the original material that I had, and I just stretched it to be brand new things that I can use throughout the piece. My last tip is to search for inspiration. I think it's something that we've all probably done before. When you get stuck, it's just natural to reach out to Pinterest or to a friend and be like, hey, what do I do? I'm stuck. And these are great ways to get you out of the hole that you're in. Something else that I have started doing that I have found is really useful is to open myself up to more serendipitous opportunities, because you can find inspiration from anywhere, literally anywhere. What would this piece sound like if it was written from the perspective of a dog or my cat or cabinet over here that just sits here all day? What what would life look like when you're stuck in a corner all day watching people walk back and forth, make things in the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. The point is you can derive new ideas from anywhere. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 techniques for getting out of a rut when I am composing. I hope that you found something in this helpful. I would love to know how you get out of your rut when you're composing or making art, whatever you do that's creative. We all experience blocks, and I'm so curious how other people get out of it. So let's start a conversation down below. I'd love to talk to you. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one.